Hello, this is Reverend Dr. Anthusa Helena, founder, owner, and developer of Sollite. Sollite's mission is for healing and conscious awakening. We offer sessions, private sessions for individuals and groups, as well as integrative medicine programs in order to bridge the gap between medicine and spirituality and encourage healing and conscious awakening on an individual and global level. For more extensive details, log on to www.sollite, Sollite.com. You can check out testimonials, my biography, private sessions link. You can book a private session with me. And if you're interested in enrolling in the Integrative Medicine Practitioners Program, you can ask for a free discovery call so that we can discuss together whether this is the best fit for you to take this opportunity and the next step in your own personal healing and awakening program yourself and for those that you love and also your clientele if you are a professional person. I've been doing weekly podcasts for several months now. So they are very detailed science and medical researched information. If you're interested, you can log on to the YouTube channel, which is Sollite Anthusa Helena. Choose your topic and enjoy the education and the informational programs that are listed there. So today's topic is really about valuing and honoring yourself. I am also linking into the last podcast that was done last week on science and spirituality. Throughout the discussion today, I will make note to specific areas that you might want to listen to that podcast as well. It's also on Facebook as well as the YouTube channel. So let me start with, how do you love yourself when you hate yourself so much? Now, that doesn't apply to everyone, but are you even aware that you might not love yourself, or at least as much as you could be loving yourself? Honoring and loving yourself is the quickest way to raise your frequency and vibration, and also heal yourself and evolve in consciousness as well. Excuse me. So, upping your self-love meter, even by 1%, makes a huge world of difference. My entire 6-month program for practitioner trainers is a journey geared towards to raise your frequency and vibration, to go higher and higher and become lighter and lighter, and to love yourself more and more. This is touched on in various methods in every monthly program that is being taught. For each modality has its own way of bringing this about, loving and becoming lighter. For more details about the practitioner program, it's on the website. You go on there and you'll see each monthly program and the subjects that are covered within that each month. So for instance, I'm going to outline some of the programs for you. They all build upon each other, and they pretty much all integrate and stabilize within each other to do the same thing that we're talking about: raising our frequency and vibration, loving ourselves more, becoming more healed and more consciously awake. For instance, in medical Qigong and in spiritual medicine, not to say all the other programs don't include this as well, but we're looking at how we maybe might not be loving ourselves as much through what they call punishing qualities versus beautification and love qualities. Now, what I mean about that, to explain a little bit more, is that, do you ever notice your self-talk in your mind? Things that repeat themselves in patterns that you're not even sure why this tape recorder is running? They might not always be, oh, you're wonderful, you're great, you're beautiful, you're awesome. There may be underlying secret subconscious messages coming in saying that, you know, oh, I'm judging you, I'm blaming you, you shouldn't have done that, you could have been better at that, you didn't do enough. All these things are punishing qualities that are deep in the subconscious, and sometimes we're not even aware of it in our conscious daily activities that this may be going on. So it's very important to become aware of what is going on repetitively in that tape that runs over and over again in your mind from your subconscious. Old patterns, things that have happened throughout your lifetime, such as traumas or even rejections from other people, from jobs, from friends. And then you just feel smaller and smaller, and the light that's within you, the flame that was a blazing fire, starts to become smaller and smaller until you just have a little flame of a candle. And sometimes it even will burn itself out, which we don't want that to do. But it's always there. So we can always rekindle it, make it brighter and brighter, and share our brilliance and love with other people. So in medical Qigong, we call that acquired through conditioned habits, through maybe bringing in some genetic or DNA coding from our ancestry or our culture. And all of a sudden, we're not in the beautification or the loving qualities or the praising of ourselves, because we are divine beings having a human experience. So we're all beautiful. We're all bright lights, bright stars. And that's what we want to get back to, really being the top tape or the top mental talk that happens within ourselves. Now in medical Qigong, that is called congenital, which is really the truth of who we are, especially when we're just being birthed into this worldly 3D dimension we find ourselves in. So also in spiritual medicine, there are 99 qualities that come from a sacred language that hold a vibratory frequency and rate, that when we use these specific words, it raises our frequency, our vibration, it beautifies us, it takes away that part of ourselves that has punishing qualities or old wounds, habits, patterns. Now this also happens with color and light therapy, which is the foundation of the work, the first month's program, because you're using color and light, which also has frequency, vibration, and resonance to it, that allows your whole being to resonate and heal and raise, remembering that our cells speak to each other through photons, which is light. So that affects on the physical nature. Now, the integrative medicine program is a holistic medical approach that covers all levels of our being: physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, heart and soul healing, and then into our divinity, what we call the secret, or our spiritual essence of the truth of who we are. So they all integrate on all levels and build upon each other. And they are meant to be taken in order so that you can understand and propel yourself from one level to another, to another, to another. Now, I know it's a very long commitment. It is a 6-month program. I know even myself, I've had difficulties in the past, and maybe sometime in the future too, who knows, to commit myself to large commitments like that, whether it be time or cost or just feeling overwhelmed. I know recently I asked to be entered into a program that is a 3-year program. It has a pretty large monetary value and a large commitment. So I've been through this before because I've been doing this for 43 years. I understand what it's like to actually take the plunge, take the leap, and say, yes, I'm going for this. But it's for your own benefit, and it's also for the benefit of the people you love, your family, and if you are a professional, definitely for your clientele. You can help your clientele in a much better way, and you can bring in new clients, which then eventually also brings in more prosperity and abundance and fulfillment for you and them also. So next, moving on, just reiterating that color and light, medical qigong, heart and soul healing, spiritual medicine, all use sound, resonance, light, and vibration to bring about this frequency change within you that heals and awakens. Now let's think about or talk about briefly what just happened 2 days ago. And how about our DNA, since we just went through what we call the 1111. Now, most metaphysical people, and I'm sure many of you, know that that is a special portal day to activate our DNA codes and our soul's divine plan. This is explained even more in Science and Spirituality, the last podcast I did last week. So you might look at it on Facebook or the YouTube channel, because this helps us clear, heal, purify not only within ourselves, but our collective consciousness, our culture, our environment, our ancestry, our family. In other words, we need to empty and let go before filling and creating something new to fill in the void through the clearing, healing process we just went through. Realizing that the DNA actually holds a lot of the ancestral and soul level, let's say, issues we might need to work through. So embodying the light, then becoming the light, is what we're looking to help and assist each other in doing. When our DNA gets fully activated and shifts into a crystalline quality, it changes us. We become consciously awakened to pure thought and awareness, as well as healing ourselves and then humanity as well. In Science and Spirituality, we talked very much about what Dr. John Hagelin and Dr. Harry Ridley had done in researching the DNA held within our being, but also in the center of our spines, which is where cranial sacral therapy, the other monthly program we talk about that's more on the physical level, to help clear those old wounds, to help clear the collective consciousness, the ancestry, what we might have brought in from our families that we need to heal. Now, we all come in with issues and things that need to be addressed and taken care of. But usually it takes some family member or someone that finally decides enough is enough, because I don't want to, or something within you says I can't continue this pattern because it's just going to keep being passed down from generation to generation, from family member to family member. So it takes one person, usually the healer in the family, that finally says, okay, I'm doing it. I have to feel it and then heal it. And then it's cleared for the ancestry as well. Not to say that each individual person doesn't still have to do their own work, but you're doing a big service to the ones that are in your lineage, in your culture, and also the world at large with collective consciousness. Now, I must say, I've been doing healing work for 43 years. It's always honestly been a real bugaboo for me. You know, like, why is it me that has to do this for everybody else? Sounds kind of weird and selfish, but that comes from my ego, and I don't want to do it, you know? Why me? Let my sister do it, or my brother do it, or my nephew do it, or leave it go on to the next generation and let my grandchildren or grandnieces and nephews do it. I don't want to do it. And, well, I'm not sure we have a choice in the matter, but we can kick and scream and be rebellious as long as we want to. And, but we have that, when we have that awareness and that insight, there's more of a willingness to be able to assist and help, and understanding that it might also be a part of your soul's divine plan, which for me, apparently, it is and has been. So the specialties of the modalities, like I said, heart and soul healing, when we're getting into the soul level, that's when we're really working on the ancestry and collective consciousness. And we also have some soul wounds within ourselves. There's 7 layers of the soul. So, you know, we're working to get to the highest, most enlightened aspect of our soul, to then bridge the gap and leap into what we call, you know, being our true divine spirit, or in the spirit world, through the soul, first through the heart. Cranial sacral therapy, like I said, is the physical aspect, really getting into the mind, the brain, the DNA in the spinal column, and then that comes from the innermost portion of your being and then goes outward to clear inside the spine, through the organs, through the muscles, through the tissues, through the energy field, and then beyond into other dimensions and other karmic or cosmic realities. Awareness in the brain is an additional course that I actually developed personally myself, because it talks about the aspects that are mechanism within our human brains that we all have as mammals, that is instinctual to go into fight, flight, or freeze. It also holds our belief systems, our traumas, and we have to work with that to allow that to heal, to rise above it, but ultimately to conjoin the opposites, to conjoin, to make one with duality, which brings us into a whole nother level of awareness. So these other modalities, besides awareness in the brain, have been taught to me by medical doctors, and I've been trained for many years and been certified by these medical doctors to also teach others. So the only monthly program that is my own development, my own research, is Awareness in the Brain, which is in the 2nd month of the training. Medical Qigong is traditional Chinese medicine that works on the energetic level and our energy field, and also delves into the collective consciousness and ancestry, etc. They all focus on healing and conscious awakening. So moving on, back to the last podcast I did on science and spirituality. I think it's worth to listen to, especially after this live video explanation, for a deeper understanding whenever you have time, if it resonates. But in science and spirituality, I mentioned chaos of the world, mentioned again in science and spirituality. As a historian, which I'm not, would just comment by saying, well, that is history repeating ourselves, or repeating itself. Now, if you watch the news, or you're at least even minimally aware of what's going on out there in the world right now, there is a split, there is a divide, there is chaos running amok. And, what do we do about that? How do we feel about that? Do we get drawn into the drama? Do we stay within ourselves and be able to still be light workers or healers and not get so sucked into what's happening, but realize that it's all in divine right order? What I wanted to talk about, especially for psychotherapists, which I'm a psychotherapist with a doctorate in spiritual counseling, is that kind of like a normal conservative psychotherapist or psychiatrist or whatever, if you went in to see them and you were in total chaos, you might be farmed off to pharmaceuticals, or be misunderstood, or dual diagnosed, or at worst, be sent to some sort of a place where you need to go into retreat to get your perceptions or mind together, so to speak. Not putting that down, some people really need that. But to me, chaos and conflict really is a spiritual emergence. It is in the universe. Chaos is where birth, rebirth, transformation, order, and ultimately creation happens. It is from that chaotic place that something is birthed. So that's why I focus on spiritual counseling and spirituality and bridging that gap. It's important to find the right person that resonates with you, to understand you and help you with whatever situation you might be in. So again, I highlighted that even more, that conversation, in the recent podcast of Science and Spirituality. So, in addition, do you recall hearing that in the void is where creation occurs? I'm sure you've heard that before. You might not have heard this. Darkness is the highest vibratory rate. Darkness is the highest vibratory frequency rate. And then stepping down from that is light. Most of us think that light is the highest. Well, it's not. Darkness is the highest, step down is light, step down is sound, step down is matter, and where we are right now. That's really gone into and explained deeply in the foundational first month program of color and light therapy. From Holy Scriptures, creation made manifest by the words, in quote, "Let there be light." So there was a void, there was darkness, and then all of a sudden, through the spoken word, let there be light, and creation and light happened. There was nothingness, and then the all that is, equating to life. Anyway, I will be introducing a couple new smaller programs in the new year that are not a practitioner or mentorship program, because I do understand the commitments of long-term involvement. These two programs that I'm going to be introducing, also certified to teach these as well. They will be shorter programs, and the shortest I can make them is 8 weeks. That's 2 months. One of them is spiritual manifestation. And in the long run, that's meant to be done for a whole entire year. But I will be giving you the information that you can work with and use on yourself for the whole entire year within an 8-week program at a much lower cost and still of value. I'm still thinking about if people are interested in that and they want to sign up for 2 months, smaller commitment, smaller cost, then possibly we might open up a private closed Facebook group and be able to help each other throughout the whole year if that is something people are interested in. Now, I bring spiritual manifestation in right now because most of us, maybe not all of us here because things have changed, talk about having New Year's resolutions. Well, we all know how that goes, don't we? And hooray and congratulations for you, those of you that it works. And it does work at times. But most of the times we say, you know, come New Year's, I'm going to do this, this, and this. I'm going to maybe exercise more or change my lifestyle and eating habits or, you know, work harder, work less. I don't know what you want to manifest. And then you're going along maybe for a month or 2 or something like that. And all of a sudden it fizzles out. How many of you have bought, what are those called, Health Club memberships, starting every new year thinking that, yeah, this is what I'm going to do all year. I'm going to really get fit and be healthy. And then you find yourself with a membership that maybe you only used a few times. I know that's happened to me in the past, so not making any judgment on either you or me, just saying spiritual manifestation really, for me, is going to be a combination of different avenues of combination of research from various areas, but mostly it's about how do you feel? Do you create your own life? Or do you think the God of your own understanding, whatever that might be, and if you don't believe in God, then maybe just source or nature creates, or you just believe that, oh, my life is just destined the way it is, so, you know, no use me trying to make it any different because it's going to work out the way it's going to work out because it's all predetermined anyway. I'm not sure how you believe, and I'm sure many of you believe different things. Do you believe you're a co-creator? Do you believe you're God yourself and you create everything? Many of you do believe that as well. And yay, if it works for you. You believe you're God, you create your own miracles, you create your own realities, you create anything you want. Congratulations. Some of you, I'm sure, that doesn't really resonate or work for you. So you have to think about what you really believe. Are you a co-creator? Are you God yourself? You predetermined that life's just going to fall as it is? And, you know, is it even worth thinking about listening to a program or taking a program for 2 months to learn more about spiritual manifestation with Source, with God, intertwined with your own willpower and what it is that also needs to be entailed on many levels: physical, energetic, emotional, psychological, etc. So it's a more of a holistic approach. So let's see, I think I talked about stuff and skipped them things. Spiritual manifestation, because it's coming up on the time when we all start thinking about the new year ahead of us and what we would like to be and what we would like to create. resolutions, well, maybe, do they work? Your answer, that you have to answer yourself. So repeated and summarized myself a bit. The next program I'm going to offer that's shorter is called, kind of conjunction with spiritual manifestation, but it's called Life Mastery. Creating the life you want and the courage to live it. Life Mastery actually brings us in to our soul's divine plan if you're not already living that. Now I want to say that Life Mastery, creating the life you want, is actually information that is channeled information from Archangel Michael, and it's combined. I combine it with some other metaphysical ancient mystery school knowledge. It is definitely, again, more of a 12-week group working process. There is a book that comes along with that. I'm just going to shorten that to 8 weeks, and you'll still have the information in the book if you're wanting to join Life Mastery. So Life Mastery also is, it is the mastering of your own energy as well. So as we master our own energy, we can master whatever else is around us, and then we also become more in our divine soul's plan. And that also goes in combination with medical Qigong, because we learn to master our energy fields when we take that monthly program as well. But again, I'm just offering 2 shorter programs, so it's not a practitioner or mentorship that's long. If you're interested in either one, spiritual medicine or Life Mastery, please private message me on Facebook so that I know that you have an interest and we can contact each other. I'll talk about it again more in the future as well. To summarize, Life Mastery, creating the life you want. Are you the creator, or do you see yourself as a co-creator? Or do you see yourself as God? And what are your beliefs around all that? Many will answer and share differently from one another about this question. Talk about spiritual manifestation programming process, spiritual manifestation through your own willpower or through God. Now God, I learned this one a while back, which I was really excited about, and it stuck with me. God, good, orderly direction. Look at that. God, G, good, orderly, O, D, direction. And that kind of entails where we're headed for both spiritual manifestation and Life Mastery. Again, Life Mastery is really about mastering your own energy. Again, raising your frequency and vibration, and loving yourself more and more. So all this is based on bridging the gap between science, medicine, and spirituality. To remember the truth of who you are, to heal and consciously awakening, coupled with spiritual manifestation and Life Mastery, to create the life you want and the courage to live it. That's the added step sometimes we miss. So stay tuned for future podcasts and live videos for more in-depth details about these 2 smaller programs, yet still a bit of a time commitment. I'll be speaking about them briefly again in the future, but do private Facebook me if you're interested in either of those 2 smaller programs. They won't, they are separate, but they kind of intertwine as well, but definitely separate information. So with that said, I want to say thank you very much for watching and listening to the live Facebook presentation today. for more detailed information about myself, my education, my background, and what Sollite does, log on to, again, www.sollite, SOLLITE.com, and enjoy the website, enjoy the information. There's a lot of blogs in there that are free and detailed information, as well as complete description of Sollite's philosophy and the information about the practitioner's integrative medicine program as well. So have a most wonderful day. It's been a real pleasure being able to share with you today, and I hope you went through a wonderful portal on 11/11 on Sunday, activated your DNA, and you really are still having a most wonderful experience about that as well. Bye for now. Thank you.